Let me ask you something. How long did your last budget last? Be honest. If you're like most people, it probably didn't make it through the first month, maybe not even the first 2 weeks. Here's the thing, though. When budgets fail, it's usually not because you lack discipline or willpower. It's not because you're bad with money. The real problem? Most budgets are built for some imaginary perfect life where nothing unexpected ever happens. But that's not the world we live in. Today, we're going to build a budget differently, one that actually accounts for real life with all its messy, unpredictable moments, a budget that bends instead of breaks. Let's dive in. Step 1 is probably going to feel a little uncomfortable, but stick with me. Before you create any budget, you need to know where your money is actually going right now. Not where you think it's going, not where you wish it was going, where it's actually going. Pull up 3 months of bank statements and credit card statements. Yes, 3 full months. 1 month might be unusual. 2 months gives you more data, but 3 really shows you the patterns. Go through every transaction and start grouping them into broad categories. Housing costs, transportation, food, utilities, insurance payments, debt payments if you have them, and discretionary spending, which is everything from coffee to concert tickets. As you do this, pay attention to what surprises you. Most people discover they're spending way more in certain areas than they realized. Maybe it's takeout, maybe it's gas, maybe it's those little subscriptions that barely register individually, but add up to a couple $100 a month. There's no judgment here. This is just information. And information is what we need to build something that actually works. Now here's where most budget advice goes wrong. Once you've got those categories, conventional wisdom says to take the average of those 3 months and use that as your budget number. Sounds logical, right? But that's exactly how budgets fall apart. Instead, look at your variable expenses, things like groceries, gas, utilities. These aren't the same every month, and that's completely normal. Groceries cost more in December when you're hosting family. Gas costs more when prices spike or when you're driving to summer weekend trips. Your electric bill is higher when you're running the AC or heat. Here's the key. For these variable categories, use your highest month as your baseline, not the average, not the lowest month when everything went perfectly, the highest. This builds in breathing room from the start. It means some months you'll come in under budget, which feels great and gives you a little cushion, but it also means you won't panic and abandon the whole thing the first time groceries cost more than expected. Now let's talk about the secret weapon that makes budgets actually survive real life. I call it the buffer category, though you can call it whatever you want. Miscellaneous. Life happens. Stuff. Here's what goes in this category. All those little things that pop up every single month but aren't the same things every month. A coworker's baby shower gift. Your car needs an oil change. You finally get that haircut you've been putting off. Someone's birthday. You need new windshield wipers. The dog needs flea medication. None of these are emergencies. They're not unexpected in the sense that you should be shocked they exist, but they're unpredictable. You don't know exactly what or when until it happens. Set aside 5 to 10% of your take-home income for this buffer. This is separate from your emergency fund, which is for actual emergencies like job loss or major car repairs. The buffer is for normal life being unpredictable, and this one category alone will prevent so many budget failures, because when something comes up, and something always comes up, you're not scrambling. You're not throwing your hands up and saying, the budget doesn't work. You already planned for this. All right, next up, annual expenses. This is another spot where budgets crash and burn. You're cruising along, feeling good about your spending, and then, bam, insurance premium due, Amazon Prime renewal, AAA membership, professional license fee, holiday gifts, whatever it is for you. These aren't surprises, you know they're coming. But if you're not planning for them monthly, they feel like financial ambushes. So here's what you do. Make a list of everything you pay for annually or semi-annually. Add it all up, divide by 12. That's how much you need to set aside every single month. Some people create a separate savings account just for these annual expenses. Every month, that amount goes in. When the bill comes, the money's already there. Other people just build it into their monthly budget as a line item. Either way works. The point is, you're smoothing out these big lumpy expenses so they don't wreck your budget when they hit. Now, you've built this budget, you've been realistic, you've added flexibility and buffers, you've accounted for annual expenses. Awesome. But you're not done. Because here's the truth. Your budget on day one is your best guess, a really informed guess, but still a guess. This is why you need review points built right into your system. For the first month, maybe even the first 2 or 3 months, check in weekly. You're not looking for perfection. You're looking for patterns. Did you way overestimate restaurant spending? Great. Adjust it down and put that money somewhere more useful. Did you underestimate gas because you forgot about a regular weekend commitment? No problem. Adjust it up. Life changes, and your budget needs to change with it. You get a new job with a longer commute? Your transportation costs just went up. You move to a new apartment, different utilities, maybe different insurance. You start a new hobby or drop an old one. Discretionary spending shifts. Your budget is not a punishment you set in January and white-knuckle your way through forever. It's a living document, a tool that reflects your actual life and helps you make decisions that align with what matters to you. And speaking of tools, let's talk about tracking. Because the fancy budget in the world doesn't help if you're not actually using it. The best tracking system is the one you'll actually stick with. For some people, that's a detailed spreadsheet with formulas and charts. For others, it's a budgeting app that links to your bank accounts, and for some, it's literally a notebook and a pen. None of these is better than the others. What matters is consistency. Pick one method. Commit to it for at least 3 months before you decide it's not working. Check in regularly, but don't obsess. You don't need to log every transaction the second it happens unless that genuinely works for you. But you do need a rhythm. Maybe it's Sunday morning coffee with your budget. Maybe it's 15 minutes every Wednesday evening. Find what fits your life. Let's bring this all together. A budget that survives real life starts with reality. Track what you actually spend for 3 months. When you set up categories, use your highest months for variable expenses, not averages. This builds in flexibility from the start. Create a buffer category for all those miscellaneous things that come up every month. 5 to 10% of your income can save your entire budget from derailing when life does its thing. Break down annual expenses and set aside money monthly so they don't ambush you. And build in regular review points because your life will change and your budget should change with it. The method you use to track matters less than using it consistently. Pick something simple that you'll actually maintain. Your budget isn't about restriction. It's about having a plan. And when you have a plan that accounts for real life, something shifts. You stress less. You make decisions more confidently. You're not wondering where the money went, because you already know. Before we wrap up, quick reminder. Everything we've covered today is educational information only. This is not personalized financial advice. Your situation is unique. Your income, your expenses, your goals, your challenges, they're all specific to you. If you need guidance tailored to your individual circumstances, please consult with qualified financial professionals who can look at your complete picture. Building a budget that works isn't about being perfect. It's about being realistic and flexible enough to handle the life you actually live. Start tracking. Build in buffers. Review and adjust. You've got this.